Our partner ITN asked on its website whether Sergeant Schmidt died in Afghanistan just to keep a corrupt president in power. It's a theme that takes us to a deeper discussion of the corruption issue. And for that, we turn to Karen von Hippel, who follows Afghanistan closely. She's a senior fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Karen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, one European diplomat said that the West would like to see President Karzai deliver, and I quote, high-profile heads on a platter. Is this something that he is likely to do? Is he going to go around and arrest his close allies on charges of corruption?
I think they would like a symbolic gesture, maybe up to 5 or 6 of the really most egregious warlords and criminals. And I think that he should be encouraged to do this. On the other hand, I think if it's true that the U.S. government and other allies are also supporting some of these allies, remember that story in the New York Times only recently how Ahmed Wali Karzai, his brother who's down in Kandahar, was on the CIA payroll. If those stories are true, we also need to stop doing that as well.
Well, take us through some of the consequences if he doesn't. Does it mean that the West and, of course, the ordinary Afghan people are going to end up losing any remaining faith that they have in his government?
Well, he certainly does not have a lot of legitimacy. I think most Afghans viewed the election as fraudulent. Turnout was low in August. I was there as an observer. I was supposed to go back for the second round, and people anticipated turnout would be even lower this second time. So he doesn't have legitimacy. He isn't delivering services and security. So he really does need to turn things around and just really do basic things like basic governance.
Well, over the past 8 years, what concrete steps has he taken to ensure the credibility of key organs of the government and the judiciary?
Well, the whole system isn't corrupt. There are parts of the Afghan government that are running very well. There is the National Solidarity Program, which, as you know, is in something like 18,000 of 22,000 districts. Education and healthcare have been going very well. So it isn't all parts of the government, but it's certainly the case that there are some warlords in key ministries, in key provinces that are in charge, that should be removed. And corruption really does filter down to the lowest level. People have to bribe police officers just to get basic administrative functions delivered. So, it really needs to be cleaned up at many different levels.
What would the consequences be if he refuses to act strongly against corruption, for example? How would it affect the West's ability to continue to fight on in Afghanistan?
Right, I do think that this is really the last chance that Karzai and his government is going to get by most of the West. It's not just the United States, but it's the Canadians and the Europeans. They're all getting very disillusioned. They're spilling blood and spending a whole lot of money on a government that isn't seen as legitimate by its own people. And I think that this patience is wearing thin across the board.
All right, Karen von Hippel in Washington, D.C., thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.